Hello, everyone. Welcome to Backyard Musings. I'm Steve, and I'm in Apple Valley.
I'm Scott, and I'm still in Utah for a couple more days.
Thank you for joining us today. Interesting article today that we found that we want to talk about. A pension investigator has found the books of Minnesota's state retirement system under Governor Tim Walz's oversight, quote, blatantly cooked, quote, end quote, and cloaked in secrecy, prompting teachers in his home state to beg the vice presidential candidate to tell the truth about lackluster investment performance and massive hidden fees. So this kind of happened to my sister like a decade ago, right after she went into retirement. Her 401k wasn't performing as well, and I took a look at it, and I told her, I said, you should talk to somebody about this because you should have more return. And she did, and I don't know what happened from it, but this is very similar.
Well,
Edward,
this is a sad deal. I mean, it doesn't differentiate. It strictly mentions, specifically mentions teachers, but I know in our state we have two. We have a retirement program for through the state for teachers, and then there's one for classified or California state employees. And so, yeah, hopefully it's. I mean, if it's teachers, that's bad. If it's all the state employees,
it's
then that's
worse.
real bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so Minnesota is the same. It's got teachers and state employees, just like
yeah,
California.
yeah, and if you're talking about this is a lot affecting a lot of people's lives here. That they worked, they worked for years, expecting some kind of a pension or return, for their efforts, and yeah, this guy just basically just
Blows it open.
blows it off. So it's crazy, but
And you'll see at the end of the segment how the people react to this. You scratch your head. So Edward Seidel, an ex-U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission lawyer, privately hired by worried educators, has just published, well, it says a bombshell 113-page report titled, quote, Minnesota Mirage, Sleight of Hand, end quote. The investment returns have been inflated and the fees grossly underreported to make the pensions appear to be doing better than they really are, Seidel told the Post. This has gone undetected for decades, the New York Post.
yeah, these kind of things, when people are responsible for this kind of stuff, and it's happening, obviously it's happening, they need to be held accountable. I mean, this is, again, you're like stealing from people.
Yeah,
This is no different than robbing. So,
and covering it up.
and covering it up, exactly. So, as governor, Walz chairs the Minnesota State Retirement System, which manages $146 billion in pension funds for all state employees. So there you go, including 28.2 billion for teachers. Um, Walz, a former teacher and beneficiary of the pension system, has never owned a stock or bond. He claims on financial disclosures. Teachers in the 20,000 member Facebook group, Minnesota Educators for Pension Reform, say Walz has not shown any support whatsoever for their plea to open their pension funds, tightly controlled books. So, yeah, this got deceit and cover up written all over it.
Yeah, 20,000 people. That's a big following.
Yeah,
If all those people were affected.
and
Um,
I'm not about class action lawsuits, but in this particular case, I'm all behind these people suing the heck out of this guy and whoever's been managing this fund. It's just crazy.
yeah. The group's GoFundMe campaign raised $75,000 in February like 8 months ago, um, to hire Seidel to conduct an independent audit. Quote, if you're such an advocate of teachers, why have 20,000 educators in your own state lost trust in the pension system you oversee and commission an independent review, end quote, Seidel asked of Walz. The Teachers Retirement Association, TSA, which administers pensions for 215,000 active and retired teachers, has publicly disclosed less than 10% of an estimated 2.9 billion in fees paid to Wall Street fund managers in the past 10 years, Seidel reports.
So somebody's been getting money for this, right? And
Yeah,
not, they have been performing. So
It makes you wonder if the people getting money are donating back to Walz's campaign, or as governor or as vice presidential candidate. Makes you think.
that would be an interesting investigation. Yeah. Or other politicians.
Follow
So
the money, right?
yeah. So follow this logic. So for instance, in 2023, the TRA disclosed total investment fees of only 24 million. Seidel estimates fees to manage the system's 6.6 billion in private equity funds alone at 334 million to 467 million. Huge discrepancy there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
On industry standards. The TRA has also posted gains, claiming it beat its own benchmark by exactly 0.2% in every period for 30 years, which Seidel calls virtually impossible. So
0.2% exactly every 30 years. You'd think they'd switch it up in 0.1, 0.15, 0.22,
yeah,
0.2%.
yeah, yeah. That's too too
Statistically not likely.
yeah. Somebody's just moving the numbers, just rolling them over, rolling them over. It just doesn't make sense. So
So check this out. The teachers' pension system has underperformed by 39 billion over the last 30 years. So if you remember at the beginning of the segment, um, it reported 26.2 billion in the funds. This is more. So you think the rule of 72 is your investment's supposed to double when you take 72 divided by the percentage that you're gaining on your funds. So this didn't double in 30 years. So does that mean it's, gosh, I don't know, 1%, 1.5% gain? That's that's not right. That doesn't make sense for any financial analyst that's listening to this segment. Weigh in for us. It just doesn't make sense.
you could the people involved here could have taken this money and stuck it in their bank and got a better return on investment than that.
Yeah, yeah.
And banks are not paying out very well right now. So
Yeah, so Seidel says, quote, had the pension fund been prudently managed, it would be worth nearly 60 billion today. Well, that makes sense. It's almost doubled 2.5 times. So
yeah,
it's almost 2.5 times doubled. That makes sense.
yeah,
Providing greater retirement security for participants and saving taxpayers billions, he said, calling the shortfall the cost of incompetence.
yeah. This is just a sad deal.
Yeah.
So even before Seidel began his audit, state officials launched an aggressive preemptive attack in a bid to quash his investigation. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Uh, they urged teachers in the Facebook group to drop the probe and held Zoom meetings with pension officials in other states to discuss how to stop the movement. When Seidel requested investment records under the Freedom of Information Act, the TRA claimed it had none. Response that shocked the teachers, I'll bet. What are you hiding? TRA equities to the State Board of Investment, which has yet to produce any records. We have received nothing, Seidel says. Meanwhile, Minnesota news outlets have totally ignored the story, further frustrating the teachers. Again, no communication. That's a bad sign.
No transparency either. What it seems like they're trying to hide something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right?
yeah.
So big government paying their cronies big money at the expense of taxpayers. My wife's a teacher, and we're going to depend in part on her pension when we retire. So I'll have my VA, I have my Army, and she'll have, and then me Social Security, her Social Security, her pension from teaching, and a small Social Security from her. So it all adds up. It's all part of the component, and these people, they're not going to get as much as they should get
Well,
because of it.
I think it all depends on where you fall on the food chain as well. This is like a perfect example of a pyramid scheme. The people that have been paying in it for years and are collecting now. My wife and I are collecting from CalPERS, and we also collect from Social Security, and then we have some other investments. So that's kind of our retirement.
Yeah.
And if we were to stop getting CalPERS because of underfunded pensions, it would affect our lifestyle. But I mean, we're not gonna, we're not gonna die, but it would definitely affect us. And I feel sorry for the people who are involved in teaching, getting involved in teaching or working for the state and contributing to the state employees fund now, because if this kind of stuff keeps up, there won't be a fund, or there's not going to be much of a fund. And I was reading an article, like I said earlier this week, about this particular article, and I checked on the situation in California. There are towns or cities that are paying their employees that have retired more than what they made when they were working through their entire.
Fauci, those dock workers.
Yeah, that's just not sustainable. I mean, they're doing that on the backs of the people that are working today, again, expecting something, and rightfully so. I mean, that's, it's not like it's a big surprise. They're told that this is what you're going to get if and when you retire with this fund. And yeah, it's deceiving. It's deception. And like we said, these people should be held accountable. It's just not right.
Yeah. All right, folks, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it, and bring your friends next time you watch.
Yep.
And have a good one.
See you tomorrow. Have a good day. Take care.